It was a busy day in Golden State Warriors lore and legacy. It was historic. Andre Iguodala's number got retired. His jersey's hanging in the rafters alongside my good friend right there, Hall of Famer Rick Barry. Oh, yeah, and the Golden State Warriors also dominated and kicked ass in a game that matters. We're breaking it all down next. Rick Barry's in the house. This is the Golden State.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Woo! Let's go!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you
Welcome to the Golden Days. I'm one of your two hosts for the evening, Cyrus Saatsaz. More importantly, Hall of Famer, NBA top 50 player Rick Barry. You can follow him on all social media platforms at Rick24Barry. Rick, we'll give some love to the sponsors in just a minute, but your immediate reaction, sir, this has been a long day for both of us. I imagine for you especially, as one of the honorees for Andre Iguodala's retirement ceremony. How was your day, sir? Your recap of a very eventful celebratory day at Chase Center, and the Warriors won a game. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing great. Any day I get up is a great day. My voice is a little shot. I think I caught when my son's scooter had. But I'm feeling okay. I'm just happy for Andre to get such a great honor, and certainly the Warriors know how to do things right. Different world today, the way things are done, to have such a really nice ceremony prior for the medallion being shown outside the arena. And then for the really super nice event that they had after the game was over. I went up to Coach Curry afterwards, and Steph was standing there. I said, I want to just thank you guys for winning this game. It would have been horrible to have this celebration after a loss. So that made it even much better. Andre conducts himself so well. He's such a man of such integrity and character, and loved by everybody who knows him. And to bestow this honor on him as a part of what will be the first of many players' jerseys being retired from this era and from this great Warriors run that has taken place. So it'll be interesting to see what decisions are made as the years go forward. We obviously know there's three other ones that will be for sure being hanging up there when their careers are over. We're talking about, Draymond and Clay and Steph. Whether they do anything with Kevin Durant, it remains to be seen, but a team is able to do whatever they feel is relevant to them and what's important to them for the contributions of a player being a Golden State Warrior. Certainly what Kevin Durant did for the 2 years he was here was remarkable. They were an incredible team. Sadly, he left. Whether they decide to retire his jersey down the road remains to be seen. But I went up to joke with Steph afterwards. I said, Steph, I just hope I'm alive to be able to watch your jersey going up there. So he laughed. I have so much respect and admiration for him as a player and as a person, and all the things that he does. As indicated by Andre, he said, this is the first of many, and without you, Steph, it wouldn't even be possible. And he's absolutely right. I mean, Steph is a super special person in the Warriors organization. He's done more for the success of this team than any player in its history. And it will be probably a memorable and fantastic celebration when that time does come, which hopefully won't be for a few more years and maybe a few more championships.
Andre Iguodala's speech was magnificent. It was eloquent. I thought he nailed it. Some speeches miss the mark. Some speeches, can be dull or cliche. This one, you mentioned the parts that I love the most. Andre mentioning how Stephen Curry knows how special he is, yet also doesn't know how special he is, which I thought was a very astute point in terms of Stephen Curry and his humility preventing him from letting ego take over. And speaking of ego, Stephen Curry's speech I thought was fantastic. We're going to end today's show, Rick. When we sign off, I'm going to play Steph's speech in its entirety because I had a very unique vantage point. I made my way down to the arena after the game was over just because I wanted to snap some photos of you. And the media credential gives you some perks, and that's one of them. I didn't expect to be sitting right behind the trophies, the 4 trophies and Andre Iguodala's Finals MVP trophy. By the way, you were Finals MVP. Did they give you a trophy? Like, what does yours look like?
Yeah, mine was a big giant thing no, MVP of the All-Star game was a big giant one. MVP of the
Huge.
All-Star, I don't even remember what it was. It didn't matter. We won. That's all I cared about.
I love that.
But my
I
one
love
for the
that.
All-Star game was gigantic, but it got broken, so it's no longer in existence. And Raymond Ritter, here's the thing about Andre that I thought was special. He took time to thank and bring the names of people that most people never even know exist
Yes.
in the Warriors organization, to give them credit for the jobs that they do behind the scenes, Raymond Ritter being one of them, a number of other people, and justifiably so. And so I was very impressed by that. I got to run into Andre over All-Star weekend, and I just told him that what he did was special, and I think Steph brought it up, to have an all-star player be willing to take the role that Steve Kerr asked him to take, to go and come off the bench, along with David Lee. Let's not forget David Lee, too, was a hell of a player. Both of the guys willing to do that because why? Because it was an effort to try to win, and thinking that would be a better thing and give the bench even more clout. As it turned out, it worked exceptionally well for them. And credit to Andre for being willing to do that. I can understand that. And that's what impressed me most, and that's what I told him, how important that was. And you set a bit of a precedent for that, and hopefully other players will be willing to take that position. Boston did that for years, bringing in a lot of older guys. I was going to go to Boston and be able to do that. Hell, I did that with the Rockets. And I mean, what a great thing to go to an organization like the Warriors if you're an older player and an established player who've been an all-star, to go and accept a role on the team that can help this team maybe win another championship, not necessarily be a starter. And Jeff Mullins did that for us with the Warriors, and Bill Bridges as well. 2 guys who were all-star players during their career who came and were willing to come off the bench. That's what it takes, because you have to take your personal goals and your personal ambitions and put them on the back burner, or actually throw them in the damn closet. It's to get your ego out of the way. It's no longer about you as an individual. It reminds me of President Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It's the same thing here. Don't ask what the team can do for you. What can you do for this team to help this team win?
Absolutely. And Stephen Curry in his speech brought up how important Andre Iguodala, him deciding to leave the Nuggets to sign with the Warriors. I know technically it was a sign and trade, but in reality, that was Andre Iguodala. He was a free agent, and he chose the Warriors, and the Warriors were interested in him. It was, and that was the piece of the puzzle. I especially love Stephen Curry evoking the memories of 2013 when the Warriors and Nuggets played in that first round playoff series, because a lot of people miss the mark when they talk about the dynasty and its origins, where it started. I looked to that series, and then the very next round, I think just as much so, if not more so, when the Warriors went into San Antonio and won a playoff game there and the Warriors hadn't won a game in San Antonio up until that point in, I think, like 18 years. It had been some ridiculous long run. So the symbolism of the Warriors winning in San Antonio, and again, that was right after they upset the Nuggets. Then Andre Iguodala comes to the Warriors. The rest is history. And Rick, you were honored, of course, because you're one of only 7 individuals in the history of the Warriors franchise to have their number retired. That's an honor, sir. There's a question in the chat from New Jersey who asked, if I could ask you, and Jersey, I'll just read your question. You're basically asking them yourself. How does it feel to be an NBA player? And to add to that, if you don't mind, Rick, how does it feel to have your number retired? Because quite a few people today were mentioning that among the distinct honors one can receive, that might be the pinnacle. How does it feel to have your number retired by the Warriors, sir? I know that happened a while ago, but we'd love to hear that anyways.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's an honor that they think enough of you and the contributions that you made to the team to not let anybody else wear your number anymore. So it is pretty special. It's probably the highest award you can get from the team itself, as far as saying the pinnacle stuff. I know that Pelinka was saying that and is mentioned. It's pretty hard to not say that winning the championship to me is what it's all about. I mean, if I didn't win a championship and they retired my jersey, yeah, that's really nice, but I'd still have a big freaking hole in my freaking heart, but not having a championship. I think winning the championship as a team is the greatest achievement that you can have. This is just another decoration on that cake, because the championship's the cake. All the other stuff, your jersey retired, making the Hall of Fame, whatever it may be, all-star teams, but those are all adornments to a cake. The cake is the biggest thing as far as I'm concerned, but certainly a special honor. Very nice of the Warriors organization to bring back people representing those people. Sadly, a great many of them are no longer with us. My dear friend Nate Thurman, and he's gone, and Wilt Chamberlain, who I got to know afterwards. Two very special people. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, Al Addles is gone. I mean, every time you turn around, somebody else is gone. And I'm sorry Chris was not be able to be there. I got a chance to meet his daughter, who I had met before. She seems like a lovely young lady.
That's who that was
That was
representing
Chris
him.
Mullen's daughter,
Okay.
yeah. And so his daughter, and she was really nice. We were just joking about pickleball. His father who's getting into pickleball, which is cool.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, very nice. Someone to represent Wilt. His sister's son was there to represent Wilt Chamberlain, and then of course Tom Mashure was there, and he's not he's in a wheelchair, having to be wheeled around, and he had to leave. But it's nice that he was there, and I'm looking forward to being around, hopefully, for those other jerseys we talk about, being hung up in the rafters. It is special. But I'd like to point out that the owners of the team in the ceremony before with the medallion actually really kind of said the same things that we've been talking about here, how important it is, and me talking about putting your ego on the side and whatever, and talking about that, it's a team. And Andre, when they decided to do that, they felt he was a big piece of that. And Joe Lacob talking about how to get Bob Myers to figure out a way to free up $24 million to be able to get him. It was really some very good speeches. Joe was right on it about it, talking about how important that is to have a team that just does the right things and get players who are willing to sacrifice and be unselfish. And here's the guy I went up, but actually I've met and spoken with on a number of occasions to Peter Guber, but I had never heard Peter Guber speak and talk for any length of time. His speech outside, Cyrus, I wish you had that to play for everybody to hear. He was super great, talking about being in the movie industry and whatever. He says, listen, I've done a bunch of movies. It's nice to have a big star to be able to head it, but you don't have a great movie unless you have a great cast. I mean, it was a great analogy. It really was. And he spoke exceptionally well, talking about Andre coming from the heart. It was great. I wish you could play that for all of the fans to hear what what Peter Guber said. I was really impressed by that.
If I find it, I will.
If you find, you should play it for the fans. I think they would really enjoy it. I give speeches and do things, and I went up to him and just complimented. Peter, I've known you and all, but I've never really heard you speak at any length at all. And I said, I thought you were great. I said, that was just a great speech, and what you had to say was just really good. And both of them, that's the reason why this has happened. Okay. Because Joe Lacob was willing to put his money where his mouth was, hire the right people to bring in to be able to then get the correct players and making the right moves. Without all of that working together as an entire unit, not just the players on the team, and then getting a coach in Steve Kerr, who was able to do such a great job without any experience whatsoever, and Bob Myers, who was able to help get the right people and put them together, and then picking the players with the right attitude. This is not an easy task. Just look at how many teams in the NBA never even won a championship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the critical element, is getting the players first. But you got to get smart people who are able to make the right decisions as to what people you're going to get to be the players. So it all works together. That's why I love our thing, togetherness. Our team was together, but the whole organization really has to be together, not just the players. And so I was really impressed by both Joe and Peter in the talk with the medallion. And then it was nice to get to meet some of Andre's family. His mom and dad went up to talk to them, to tell them how proud I'm sure that they are of their son and what he's done. Just a really, really nice, important part of Warriors history that took place
Mhm.
today, without question. And again, a start of a new chapter. This is the start of a new chapter. It's 2012. I think Mully was the last guy, right? That got retired. So 2000,
Yes,
I
because you
believe.
made your infamous speech during that
Yeah.
ceremony.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is I joked with Joe afterwards. I said, yeah, well, the thing about it is that, Joe, I caught a lot of hell for doing that. I said, but the thing is, he said, yeah, but you were right. And I said, yeah, I was, but
You were
I was
right.
right. I was right about you, but you
Yes,
were the
sir.
guy that did it. You and Peter.
That's why I always tell you that Joe Lacob owes you for the rest of his life, because he came out there and got booed by that whole arena, and you stood up for him. And like you said, you nailed it. He was the owner that turned this
Yeah, that was a
franchise
tough.
around and brought championships.
That was a
It,
tough
it
night
was
for him. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was a tough night for Joe. I mean, come on, you're
yeah.
there, and you have this money, you're doing stuff, you're getting in there. You got your Chris Mullins jersey retirement. It was a disservice totally to Joe. It was unfair to him, but it was stupid on the part of those few fans, the younger fans over there, who created the problem because they made a trade and didn't let Steph Curry go. Okay, I mean, come on, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, and it was a total disservice to Chris Mullin on his night for his
Yeah.
jersey retirement. And
Yeah.
so I couldn't take it anymore just listening to that crap. And so I did what I have to do. People can say whatever the hell they want to say about me, but in the end,
No,
everything happens for a reason, and it was right. So Joe
no,
did
I
it.
don't think there's
Peter did
any.
it.
I've never heard of a single person criticizing you for taking the mic that night and making that speech. And like you said, in hindsight, you were right. It worked out. The rest is history. And Rick, it's crazy to me that Andre Iguodala is the first player getting his number retired as a member of that dynasty. Yet, despite that, the dynasty's still going. And the Warriors played a game of significance, of incredible relevance today that we got to talk about. We've given Andre Iguodala and Warriors lore its due, but they're in the present at this moment. The Warriors are contenders, Rick. At least I think so. I don't get your
You're
thoughts on that.
reading my mind. I said we need to talk about this team now. We need to talk about them. If you want to hit your sponsors, hit them now before I go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're running on fumes right here, folks. It's been a long day. Let's give some love to our sponsors. First and foremost, Rick, you've lived in Northern California for a very long time. You have incredible connections here as a former member of the Golden State Warriors, and I'm sure there's other reasons as well. But have you ever traveled to Humboldt?
Yes, I have.
The reason why I bring that up is because Visit Humboldt is a new sponsor of this program. I used to go to school up there. It's an awesome client to have because it's very easy for me to promote them. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, in my humble opinion. It's only a 3 to 4 hour drive from the Bay Area. If you're looking for something to do, drive up to Humboldt County, whether it's Arcata, Shelter Cove. What was your experience, sir?
Well, just a very nice. I didn't go up there to visit particularly, but I remember having gone up there. And like you say, I mean, when you get that far away from the city, there's some beautiful country. I mean, California is just an amazing state with the beauty that they have to offer. And when you get away from the hustle and bustle of a big city, it really becomes, kind of a special, quiet moment that you can have and enjoy the beauty.
Absolutely. And beauty is the right word. And check out visithumboldt.com for more information on hotels, things to do. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again with every ad read. DM me personally, whether on Instagram at Dog Wild, on Twitter at Surf Journalist, and I will give you tips and advice on places to go. It is a beautiful part of the world, and it's right in our backyard if you live here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Today's episode also brought to you by Dr. Tom Rosanelli. Folks, give the man a call. His number is 415-931-9881. Again, 415-931-9881. Our sponsorship contract with him ends in a week, less than that. I want to keep this thing going. I want Dr. Tom Rosanelli to be a long-term part of this. Help us out. Check out either his website, rosanelli.com, schedule a free consultation, or give the doctor a call, 415-931-9881. Rick, because it is the 50th anniversary of you winning the 75 Finals MVP, the Warriors winning the title in 75, one of the biggest upsets in professional sports history, sweeping the vaunted Washington Bullets. The doctor is adding a zero to that and giving folks $500 off. All they have to do is mention your name, sir. And Rick, you're a former patient of the doctor.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. First of all, he does hair transplantation. He's up on all the modern techniques, and it's not like if you go there, you don't know who's going to do it because he's got a whole big slew of offices, and you might get, somebody that you never heard of. It's Dr. Rosanelli who's going to do it. You're going to get personal attention to staff is fantastic. As I say, he's up on all the modern techniques. I told him all the time, I said, I just needed you about 25 or 30 years ago. So I should have just waited until I found you. But yeah, he's a great guy, does tremendous work. I've had a lot of people that I know and suggested that they go over and check it out. Does fabulous work. So if you're looking in the mirror, you're not happy with what you see in the mirror when it comes to what's on your head, Dr. Rosanelli can help you.
There you go. I don't know how better to say that. Today's episode brought to you by BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. I'm going to guess the Warriors covered the spread today. I don't know what it was. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is bet on this Warriors team that is kicking ass, and they will win you money. They're covering the spread. Go check out BetOnline. The game starts here. Rick, I've got two stat lines here to present to you, and one of these players is going to be honored as the Underdog Fantasy Player of the Night, but I don't know who to give this honor to. Is it Stephen Curry, who's dropping nights on the Dallas Mavericks, and more specifically PJ Washington? Stephen Curry tonight, 30 points, 3 of 8 shooting from deep, added 7 assists, added 4 rebounds, was a plus 14 net rating. Or was it Brandon Pajemski, who on this night had 17 points, 13 rebounds, was 3 of 5 shooting from deep. He had himself a night, led the team in net rating with a plus 30. Outstanding performance by both those individuals. Rick, I'll give you the honor, sir. Who should be our Underdog Fantasy Player of the Game?
Well, how the hell do you ever say the word Curry and underdog?
Well, Curry himself considers himself an underdog. As weird as
Please. The pod man did well. I saw him after the game, had a chance to chat and congratulate him, say, hey, I'm happy you got your game back. I said, everybody goes through those struggles, but I'm proud of you to fight through it. And it looks like you got your stuff back. I'm really excited about the potential of this team. Things are falling in place with all the things that we had discussed before, that what needs to happen. I was really impressed with the hustle on defense. Their defense the guys really worked hard. They did a great job of switching. They were challenging guys, not giving them totally uncontested shots. And in today's game, so many people shoot the ball so well. And if you move the ball exceptionally well, which they did at times, and they got some open shots, even Clay got some open ones late and knocked in, I think, 3 of them. But you can't stop that. It's impossible to stop it in that type of a situation. But I thought overall their hustle was great. They got a lot of loose balls, did a nice job, got their hands on a lot of balls. And so they have to play that kind of defense every single night. And even though they really, as a team, didn't shoot the ball that well from 3-point range in the game, right? I mean, I think they were what, low 30s, something like that. It wasn't anything.
It was right. They had incredibly 43-point attempts, only hit 12 of them for 30%.
Yeah,
that's not a good number.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't really shoot the ball well from threes overall. But what I like is, just the same thing. The way that Jimmy's playing, I think Jimmy's really enjoying playing and creating and kicking. I could see the excitement he made when he made a great drive one time and kicked it out to the pod man in the right corner on the far end of and knocked it in. And I could see the excitement in his face. I think he's really enjoying it. Plus, he's enjoying because he's smart and he's moved without the ball and he's getting a lot of passes for nice, easy baskets. It's Warriors style basketball being played on a high level by all of the players right now. We need to get Kuminga to come back and be able to join that group and play at that high level as well. And it was interesting to see. I hope that Trace gets back because I want to see how Steve handles having the 3 bigs. I mean, it worked pretty well in the first half, posted great. I think, knocked a couple of threes down, did a nice job, spread the floor out for everybody, especially with Kuminga and Jimmy. And Steph, oh, man, you got to guard post outside. If you don't guard him outside, he knock him down. So that opens up the middle. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works and how he's able to use those 3 guys, as I said, get 16 to 20 points or so from the 3 bigs, depending on how much, together for a game, and then hopefully get some block shots and play some good defense, and also get 12 to 16 rebounds as a combination. Now you've got the stats of one really good big man doesn't matter. It's three guys that it comes from. We did it with the two-headed monster with Clifford Ray and George Johnson. They could do it with those three guys and have the triple-headed monster to give them something from the center position. That's essential because against certain teams, you're going to have to play with bigger guys in order to be able to counter what the other team has to offer. Like in this game here, they couldn't. I mean, that would have been hard to start the starting lineup they had if Davis had been playing today for Dallas.
Absolutely. And the Warriors defense, as you mentioned, they put the Mavericks down on lockdown from the moment this game started, pretty much held Kyrie Irving to 17 points, 1 of 6 shooting from deep. PJ Washington did come back. He had himself a good night, but this Warriors team with Jimmy Butler, Rick, they're so different. Like they went from a team where it felt like every possession mattered. Every game came down to, these tight, clutch performances, right? I mean, the Warriors were leading the league in clutch games, meaning the games within 5 points with 5 or minutes or less to play. And now they're just taking care of business. I mean, they're hard to stop, Rick. What I saw in person, side note, today was a reminder why, to me, it's a million times easier to observe a game on television than it is in person. Like on TV, I'm glued to it. I'm noticing finite details. When I'm at a game, it's like you talk to someone for a second, 5 minutes have gone by. I can't keep up. I don't know how people can analyze basketball properly watching it from the stands. It's impressive if you can do that. TV to me is far better. But with that said, one thing I noticed watching this game and Chase is it's easy for them to score now. They're blowing teams out. How did Jimmy Butler, how did this one guy transform everything? Like, what do you see from that perspective?
Well, he's a guy who can get you 20 or 30 every night. He can create his own shot. He's another guy instead of Steph that you can get the ball to with 5 seconds on the shot clock, and he's going to make something happen. And he's unselfish as well. I mean, he can penetrate. He kicks it. He doesn't try to force it. I like what's happening, but it's also happening. I think Buddy is trying to get his confidence back and shoot the ball a little bit better. And then you got the pod man shooting the ball much better from threes. Hey, and the other guy that I like, and we've talked about it, I like Moody had another real good game. So when you have that many people who are able to contribute and who can knock down the 3-point shot it's such an essential part of success for a team in the NBA these days. And to have done what they did to Dallas there and shoot only 30% from threes. But crazy. I think a lot of those misses, they cut it down. They missed a lot at the end. Post missed a whole bunch of them when he was getting shots when the reserves were all in there.
Correct.
But overall, it was still decent. They were probably up in the 33, 34, which is 50 from twos, which is fine. I could live with that. But just imagine what happens when they're going to have a bunch of these guys on and they start shooting 40-something% from threes. So, yeah, I really do like it. Jimmy has been a great addition to the team. I just see the team playing with an overall attitude that's so much more positive, and it looks like they're really starting to have fun playing together.
Yeah, agreed. Strongly agree. The vibes are good. Rick, even Chase Center, there was a buzz there even that I don't think was there before. And Steve Kerr, after the game, briefly held a press conference, then went back out for the Andre Iguodala ceremony. And let's hear from Steve Kerr, because I think he nailed it in terms of how the fans are feeling. Everything's changed. Like the moment Jimmy Butler got here, the team is now 5-1 with him on the roster. And here is Steve Kerr talking about just how everyone's noticed something is different. And yes, folks, this team is a contender. Here's Steve Kerr.
And just gets a standing ovation. It seems like there were other moments where it was pretty rocking inside the arena. Did the energy feel any difference tonight? And it's like, what you got?
Yeah, you can tell our fans, see the difference. They feel the momentum just like we do. So it was an important shift. The trade itself, I think I mentioned this after the Sacramento game. We needed it. We felt it. We were kind of treading water. We couldn't get any traction and in the season, and Mike sensed it and made the move, and you could feel the shift. Sometimes you got to shake things up, and we shook things up, and just so happened that one of the best players in the league was available, and that doesn't happen very often. But it's a It's a move that made sense, and so far it's showing why.
Oh, it's just I can't get enough of this. This is amazing. And Rick, Jonathan Kuminga is not even back yet. What do you anticipate in terms of Jimmy Butler's influence on Kuminga? And real fast, Jimmy Butler in today's game as a facilitator on top of all the other things he's doing, 18 points, 5 assists. His assist numbers have been incredibly very positive. Added 3 rebounds, a plus 28 in net rating, 5 of 9 shooting from the field. Rick, when Kuminga comes back, do you any predictions on the influence and impact of Jimmy Butler on Kuminga?
Well, hopefully he's having an impact on him while they're practicing and he's doing his rehab stuff. I also think that Jimmy was worth more than just 5 assists. He made a lot of other passes that guys didn't make shots. He still created other things. It could have been a lot better and a lot higher than that. I don't know what the situation is going to be with Kuminga. Who knows how long it's going to take him to get into playing condition to play up at the level that he needs to play. It's not an easy thing to do, to be out for that extended period of time and come back and be able to play at an exceptionally high level. So I'm sure they'll spoon feed him back in there. Hopefully when he does play, they get the right lineups in there to create opportunities for him. I would think he'll be best when Post is in the game, who can stretch the floor and open things up for Butler and for him and for Steph. So we'll see. I really don't know. As I say, I've always felt that he had potential to become a really outstanding player. He's made improvements from his rookie year, but I don't think he's gotten to the level that he needs to be in order for this team to really fully take advantage of what his talent is. He's got to become a more consistent three-point shooter. He has gotten better in that area. I know he can create and do other things, but that's going to be up to him. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Me too.
I think he has the potential to do that, but only time is going to tell. I'm just praying that he does, and then then Steve has another tough decision. What combinations do I use to put him in there, and how much time do I give him? Because that's one of the things that we talked about. He didn't get a whole lot of time, and then now Moody's playing well because he's getting time. So what happens when Kuminga comes back? Who do you put in? Yeah.
Well, the good news, Rick, we covered this on a different show. Steve Kerr was asked about that. I think just following the last game the Warriors played, and Steve Kerr said, I think what we all wanted to hear, which is he's going to play the best players. And he did say that Kuminga was going to play on the floor with Draymond and Butler, because I imagine that's a question a lot of people had in their minds leading up to Kuminga coming back. Side note, I predicted Kuminga was going to come back Tuesday against the Hornets. I was dead wrong on that. He's not. Now, at least from talking to people at the arena today, the prediction is it's going to be on the upcoming road trip for the Warriors, and so it's not going to be Tuesday at home against Charlotte. It could be Thursday against Orlando, although I doubt even that. Maybe Saturday against Philly, and then the road trip continues against Charlotte, the Knicks, and Brooklyn. So I heard a few people say that to expect Kuminga back at some point during the road trip, but yeah, this was a gnarly ankle injury, Rick. I mean, it's not every day an ankle keeps someone out for 2 months. But I'm feeling very good about how he's going to fit when he gets back. What I saw with him before the injury, he was already starting to hit the marks that I think all of us were anticipating, and that we knew he could hit. He finally was starting to hit that mark, and with Jimmy Butler now, I'm so excited. I can't figure out the right words to express my giddiness over the Warriors with Jimmy Butler. All I could say is I think this is a contender, Rick. Are you there? Do you still need to see more before you come to a conclusion about whether or not the Warriors can compete with the best of them?
Yeah, I have to wait. You have to do it more consistently. Certainly, it's encouraging what we're seeing, but there's so many elements that have to fall into place, and those elements have to continue to perform at a very high level of efficiency. To do it for a little stretch, and then all of a sudden it's not working again. And Kuminga is a big part of that because we just don't know how severe that injury was and what impact it's going to have on his ability to play at the level he was playing because he had the quickness. He could get to the basket. I mean, he was as athletic as could be. It's the same situation. I mean, we know that Clay played well, but Clay is not the player that he was before those injuries because he lost a half a step. A half a step in basketball is tough to deal with. And so we'll have to see if the quickness of Kuminga is still there. Hopefully he's been working, and hopefully his shot is going to be there for him. And then his conditioning, that's always a huge factor as well. So that's the biggest concern for me right now. So far, all of the things, and we got to get Trace back to see what's happened with the three-headed monster. Those are my biggest things. If what the guys are doing now continues, and if Trace comes back and Steve figures a way to use the three bigs together, they keep up with the tough defensive like they've been playing. And if Kuminga can come back at a high level doing it, then yes, then I would say they are a team that could possibly get to 7 or 8, not have to go into the play-in. And if they get to 7 or 8, if I'm 1 or 2 and I have to play the Warriors going into the playoffs, if they're playing this type of basketball that we're talking about, I'm going to be real concerned if I were the other team.
Hell yeah. I actually think the Warriors have a better shot than 7 or 8, Rick. I think 6 or even 5 is
Possibility. It's a possibility, but
Yeah.
there's still too many unknown factors. Everything hasn't fallen into place yet. There's a lot of things, Buddy Hield's shooting better, playing consistently. The pod man staying at the level that he's at. The three guys, how are you going to use them? I'm not worried about Jimmy. I'm not worried about Steph. I'm not worried about Draymond. All right, but all those other ones are all factors that have to be taken into consideration, and only time is going to tell.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Lakers played we're going to wrap it up, Rick. I know you're fading. I'm right behind you. I'm ready to go to bed. But I want to touch on this real quickly. The Lakers played the Denver Nuggets yesterday, and I bring this up because the Nuggets to me are the biggest obstacle in the path the Warriors are going to take to try and win a 5th championship of this era. The Nuggets, without question, in my opinion, are a litmus test. And the Lakers, who also have been struggling against the Nuggets the last 2-3 years, did something in terms of strategy, which I think Golden State, I think any other team needs to do to beat Denver. It's a simple strategy. It's not complicated. They simply decided to take Nikola Jokic out of the game and force another player to beat them. I don't know why more teams don't do this. But it's a strategy the Lakers committed to, and it worked. Jokic was held to 12 points, had 13 rebounds, but the Lakers won that game 123-100, largely because the Nuggets don't have the depth they've had in past years. And with a strategy like that, it revealed a massive chink in the Nuggets' armor, I think. My point is, I was worried about the Nuggets a little bit because of the size issue, but they have the bodies to throw at Jokic now. In terms of double, triple teams, forcing players like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. to beat you. Those players have not consistently been able to do it. Jamal Murray may be an exception, but he didn't do it against the Lakers, certainly. My point is, I see that, and I'm very optimistic. Any thoughts on that as we wrap up the show, Rick?
Well, you're right about how well the Lakers played in that game. I mean, I thought they played an exceptional game. Denver is a team that's always given the Warriors problems. And I agree with you. I mean, you make another player beat you. You don't let the Joker get triple doubles against you, get 25, 30 points and 12 to 15 rebounds and double digits in assists. Somebody else has to get the job done. And you're right. They don't have the depth they had before, but they're still a team. And it was impressive. The Lakers on the road, with Luka not having played that much there, they beat them, and they usually have a real tough time with them, and it was on the road. So
yeah, exactly.
That was an impressive win by the Lakers, and and again, their defense helped them. And the same thing with the Warriors. I think a lot of times they did a great job on Kyrie when he was there. You see how they did a good job and they switched and went back. I just liked the effort on defense that they had. You're not going to stop a player like Kyrie. He's just too damn good. He's going to get by you and do stuff. But they made it tough on him. They really did make it tough on him. And so
they did. Rick, I'm so excited about this team. I really feel good about them. Here are the standings real fast. With the Warriors beating the Dallas Mavericks today, they're still 9th, but Minnesota lost to OKC tonight as well, which means that both Minnesota and the Mavericks are now just a half game ahead of the Warriors in the standings. All 3 teams are tied in the loss column. Incredible. And then the Warriors currently are just a game and a half behind the Clippers, and they're currently 5 games back of both the Lakers and the Rockets for the 4 seed. and there's still 25 games to play. We're gonna have some fun here, Rick. I'm really excited to watch the Warriors. How much longer are you in town, sir? Are
I'm back. I've been gone too long. I've been gone it's been like 12 days. So it's been great to be out here. Got a lot of stuff done with my buddy Jerry Breen, who I do some business down in I got some good pickleball into down in Los Gatos with Be Rare and some of the other stuff we're doing with longevity and life, which, my goal is to be 100 years old and play pickleball and go fly fishing. And Jerry's helped me a lot with that. So we got a lot of exciting things going on. So,
hell yeah.
Hopefully I'll be back out again and get a chance to see the team in person. It's always nice to be back there at Chase and see the great support by the fan base here.
Did you hear the fans cheer you, by the way, when it was your turn to be honored among the six?
Yeah, it was very,
they
very
roared
nice
for you, sir. I just want to make sure you're aware of that because I certainly heard it.
Yeah, well, I'm always appreciative of that and the fact that so many people still remember who I used to be.
Of course. Of course. I mean, look, even if they don't remember, I mean, I don't because, I wasn't alive for a lot of what you did when you played, but the history books don't lie. One of the many beautiful things about all the documented video footage, which is on YouTube and other places, is we can watch all of your accomplishments. They're out there for people to see and enjoy. So, no, if you call yourself a member of Dub Nation, Rick, you are right up there with Stephen Curry, Iguodala. There's a reason your jersey is retired, sir. And you have some ventures you want to promote, right? Medusa Leaf, one of them.
Yeah. And you're flashing at medicaleaf.com, allomd.com, and ghostsleeves.com are three of the ones. And the code is small r, small b, 24, my number, RB24. You get a nice discount, great products. Two of them are cannabinoid products, no THC in them. That might disappoint some people. But the Ghost Sleeves, amazing product. And I'm actually helping them to do some. They got some really cool things going on. It's the best compression sleeve that has kinesio tape built into it. It's pretty remarkable. Everybody I've gotten to try them said, Rick, these are awesome. So trying to help those out as well. And then working with my son's Scooter on another company called I Am for Health you can't too much time to have to talk about that. But yeah, I'm busier now than I've ever been. Excited. Trying to get myself back in shape so I can get ready for the U.S. Open pickleball at the end of April to try to see if I can get 4 triple crowns this year. I missed out by 1 last year, so I got another goal set for myself.
And for the audience, tomorrow we're going to be back live at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Sophia Jones is going to join me. We'll talk more about today's victory. We'll talk about Taron Armstrong, who I have no clue about. He was in the news today because the Warriors signed him as a two-way player. He apparently was a standout or is a standout playing in Australia. So we'll do some research between now and tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Warriors are staying active, even with two-way deals and all sorts of stuff. It never stops being interesting. Rick, we're going to finish the show with Stephen Curry's speech. So we'll sign off now, but for the audience, we'll play that as we roll out. Just because the speech was incredible. I thought Steph nailed it. And I actually own the copyright because I took the video. So any final thoughts, Rick, before we go? Anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
Thanks to the fans for the great support that they have. And thanks to the Warriors organization for keeping me as a part of such a great legacy that they've had here for so long. And it's just so nice to see them going through this stretch of time where they really are playing, at such a high level, not to the level that they were a few years back, 3-4 years ago, but still at a level that they can be extremely competitive. And I still think that their championship a few years ago, the last one, was the most impressive one because it came unexpectedly, and it just shows you what can happen when you all pull together and do the job you're supposed to do. Maybe we can pull that off again with them this season.
Yes, sir. Absolutely right. Here is Stephen Curry. This was a speech which was immediately following today's victory by the Golden State Warriors, a thumping, if you will. Another blowout, 126-102 was the final. The Golden State Warriors improved to 30-27. Hall of Famer, NBA top 50 player Rick Barry was on hand to celebrate Andre Iguodala becoming just the 7th player in franchise history to have his number retired, joining you, sir, and very select elite company. Rick, always a pleasure, sir. Excited to do this again soon. Get some rest. And for the audience, enjoy Stephen Curry talking about Andre Iguodala. And we'll sign off right after that. Rick, thank you, sir. Thank you to everyone. Bye-bye.
Rafters, deservedly so. It just makes it kind of, sink in that we are old. I'm still out here in freaking basketball gear trying to rub it down with these young boys, and you get your honor. I feel like I was in my prime when we were playing together. So it's truly a blessing to be here with each and every one of you to celebrate this man, Andre Iguodala, getting his jersey retired, the first of this generation. I think we all can feel it, but this isn't just about a number going in the rafters. This is about celebrating a player who changed the course of our entire franchise. You set the standard for what it meant to be a leader and what it means to make everybody around you better. And I felt that the very first time I got to spend time with you back in 2010, the World Championships, we played on Team USA. I had no idea why I was on that team, but I learned so much from you in terms of how you impact winning, how you set the culture, how you make your presence felt on and off the court. And when people talk about like our dynasty years, the championships, the finals MVPs, all the big shots, the big moments you had, the real ones, they know where it all started. We've all talked about it a little bit. I remember Game 6 in 2013. You were on the Denver Nuggets, and we were the young, scrappy Warriors who were trying to cement ourselves in the playoffs. We had the fortune of beating that series, but the first thing after the horn went off, you ran across the court and you found me. And obviously we had a history, but that love and that message you gave me right there, I didn't know it was in the future, but I could feel something. I could feel that you saw something. And fast forward, 4 months later, or not even, and you were the first one to choose us. And that meant the world for a team that was trying to figure it out. For a team that knew we were good, but didn't know how to get to that next level, you unlocked so much confidence, so much IQ, so much maturity to what we did. And from that moment on, and from the moment you got here, you showed us exactly who you were. You didn't come in demanding the spotlight. You embraced a role that most stars wouldn't. You led with defense, making the right play like Coach was talking about. Game winners, the first one you had against OKC, right in the very first year. Just special moments that gave us the confidence that we could do something special together. And you sacrificed ego for excellence, which for us is about the glory of God. Being the ultimate teammate is hard, and I think everybody can look at different moments in your career. You almost had 2 careers, from Philly, being the man that faced the franchise, to coming here and being the glue that made it all work. And it went through the entire part of your career to the last moment I remember, which is one of my favorite moments, us in Boston, Game 6, and continuing to make your presence felt as a mentor, as an encourager, as somebody that's inspiring greatness. Over here talking about getting big. Come here. Like that moment right there, that energy, that to me embodied everything that you were about. How many minutes you played that game? I don't even remember. You came at the end. Like the fact that you literally were about to the final buzzer, you knew that you expected greatness from all of us, that you were going to pull that out of us. And that's why we're here tonight. Your legacy is bigger than banners, it's bigger than rings, it's in the way that you carry yourself today. I know we all wanted to leave this franchise in a better place than we found it. And every young player who walks into this organization and wears a Warriors jersey now understands what winning basketball looks like because you helped them find it. And I hope that anytime anybody walks in this building, walks and sees your medallion outside or sees your jersey in the rafters, understand it's 9 and Iguodala on the back. They feel that mission to it, brother. So thank you so much for me, for our franchise, for our team. Thank you. Appreciate it. Certainly. So it just makes it kind of